Let me take you into a moment many people never imagine. You've had a normal day. Maybe you did the crossword, called your daughter, watered the plants. Nothing dramatic, nothing unusual. Dinner was light, maybe soup and bread. You brush your teeth, adjust your pillow, and slip under the covers. You feel safe. But then, sometime in the night, something changes. You wake up groggy, you try to say something to your spouse and the words come out garbled, or your arm feels like it belongs to someone else. Suddenly, your balance is gone. That's a stroke. No warning sirens, no obvious pain the night before, just one ordinary evening ending with a life-changing event. Now, most people assume strokes only happen after decades of bad habits, smoking, greasy food, never exercising. But here's a fact I've seen again and again in older patients. Strokes sometimes come from something people thought was healthy. Not cigarettes, not alcohol, not stress, but a vitamin pill. Yes, the little capsule you bought in good faith from the pharmacy or online. Vitamins are seen as safe, even gentle. We imagine them as little helpers, like tiny shields protecting the body. But the truth is, too much of certain vitamins or taking them at the wrong time can quietly tip your brain into danger. Think of your body as a carefully balanced scale. On one side, you have all the nutrients you take in, food, supplements, water. On the other side, you have what your body actually needs. When the balance is right, you feel steady, energetic, sharp. But pile too much on one side and the scale tips. That's what happens with vitamins in excess. They don't just sit there. They change how your blood clots, how your arteries behave, how your nerves fire. And when you're over 60, your body doesn't have the same flexibility it once had. Arteries are less springy, blood vessels are thinner, and the brain itself is more fragile. The silent danger grows. I once treated a retired bus driver named Mr. Lewis, 71 years old, kind smile, loved gardening. On his kitchen shelf were neat rows of bottles, vitamin D, vitamin E, a B complex, even a powder his nephew had convinced him to try. He thought of them as insurance. No smoking, no drinking, just supplements and a decent diet. One morning, though, his wife found him unable to move his left arm. A stroke caused not by clogged arteries from fast food, but by the very vitamins he believed would keep him safe. His story stays with me because it shows how easy it is to be misled by good intentions. This is why I want to walk you through 5 vitamins that can be risky. Vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin B6, vitamin A, and niacin. Each of them matters for health in small amounts, but too much or at the wrong time can backfire. By the end of this conversation, you'll understand why more isn't always better, why natural doesn't always mean safe, and how to protect your brain without throwing away your independence. Think of this not as a lecture, but as me sitting across from you, cup of tea in hand, explaining how to outsmart the traps nobody warned you about. Let's start with one of the most surprising culprits, vitamin D, the so-called sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D is famous. It's the supplement almost everyone over 60 has heard they should take. It strengthens bones, supports mood, boosts immunity. Doctors prescribe it, pharmacies push it, and health magazines celebrate it. But what very few people realize is that too much vitamin D, especially taken at the wrong time of day, can quietly turn into a risk for stroke. Let me tell you about Mrs. Carter, a 74-year-old retired math teacher. She was disciplined to the minute, breakfast at 7, walk at 9, reading in the afternoon. And every night, just before bed, she swallowed a bright little capsule, 10,000 IU of vitamin D. She believed it was protecting her bones, especially after a friend broke a hip. But one morning, she woke up confused, her speech slurred, her right arm heavy and unresponsive. She had suffered a stroke in her sleep. Blood tests showed her calcium was dangerously high, her arteries stiff, her blood pressure erratic. The hidden culprit was vitamin D toxicity. Here's the science simplified. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. That's normally good. Calcium builds bones. But when you take too much, the calcium overflows into your bloodstream. Your body, not knowing where else to put it, stuffs it into your arteries. Over time, those arteries become stiff, like old garden hoses left out in the sun. Combine that with dehydration at night and the natural blood pressure fluctuations that come with sleep, and you create the perfect storm for a stroke. The problem is that supplement bottles are misleading. Many contain 5,000 or even 10,000 IU per pill, and the labels don't make clear how much is too much. For most older adults, 2,000 IU per day is already on the high side, and that's only if you're deficient. Add in food sources or the bit of sunlight you get, and suddenly you're over the safe threshold without realizing it. Timing also matters. Vitamin D in the morning allows your body to process calcium through the day, but take it at night and you risk a surge of calcium just as your brain is most vulnerable. Mrs. Carter was shocked when I explained all this. "Doctor," she said, "I thought I was doing the safest thing in the world," and she's not alone. Many seniors believe that if something is over the counter, it must be harmless. But the truth is, vitamin D is a hormone-like substance. It's powerful. And too much of it, especially combined with calcium supplements or certain heart medications, can quietly load the dice against your brain. If vitamin D's danger is stiffness, vitamin E's danger is bleeding. Vitamin E has a reputation as the heart helper. Ads promise it will improve circulation, protect the skin, maybe even keep memory sharp. Many older adults add it to their routine without a second thought. But high doses of vitamin E thin the blood. And if you're already on medications like aspirin, warfarin, or Plavix, that combination can turn deadly. Take Mr. Thompson, a 79-year-old retired postal clerk. He had a heart condition and was prescribed a blood thinner. He followed his doctor's instructions carefully, but he also started taking vitamin E, 800 IU per day, after reading an article claiming it would boost his memory. 3 weeks later, he collapsed with a blinding headache. A brain scan showed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. The blood vessels hadn't burst because of high blood pressure, but because his blood had become too thin to clot. The mix of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E had tipped the scale. Here's the science in simple terms. Vitamin E in small amounts helps protect cells from damage. That's good. But in large amounts, it acts like an anticoagulant. It slows clotting. Add that effect to blood thinners, and your risk of internal bleeding rises sharply. The brain, with its tiny fragile vessels, is the most dangerous place for this to happen. Even a small bleed can rob you of speech, memory, or independence. The safe daily amount of vitamin E is only about 15 milligrams, which equals 22 international units. But many supplements on store shelves contain 200, 400, or even 1,000 international units per capsule. The labels don't warn you that these doses are far beyond what the body needs. Seniors buy them thinking, if a little helps, a lot must help more. But the body doesn't work that way. Mr. Thompson survived, but he walks with a cane and struggles with memory. He once told me, "I thought I was giving myself an extra layer of protection. I didn't realize I was thinning away my safety net." His words stay with me because they reflect the quiet trap so many fall into. Vitamin E is not evil. In food form, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, it's wonderful. But in pill form, especially at high doses, it can backfire dramatically. Vitamin B6 is often marketed as nerve support or brain booster. Walk into any pharmacy and you'll see bottles promising sharper focus, better memory, or stronger nerves. But too much B6 can cause the very problems it claims to solve. One patient I recall vividly was Mr. Ramirez, a 75-year-old retired mechanic. Years of bending under car hoods had left him with aching joints, but he was proud of how sharp his mind still was. Then, slowly, he began to feel tingling in his hands. His feet went numb. Walking across the living room became a balancing act. At first he thought it was arthritis or just old age, but then he started falling. When we reviewed his supplements, I found the culprit, a nerve health formula with 100 milligrams of vitamin B6 per pill. He was taking 2 a day, 200 milligrams daily. That's 20 times the safe limit. Here's the simple science. Unlike vitamin C, which washes out of your system quickly, B6 lingers. Over time, high doses damage the protective coating around nerves, like peeling insulation off an electrical wire. Once that coating is stripped, the nerve signals misfire. The result is numbness, tingling, weakness, even tremors and confusion. And the scary part is, the symptoms creep in slowly. Many seniors mistake it for neuropathy, arthritis, or even dementia, when really it's B6 toxicity. For older adults, the safe daily amount of B6 is just 2 to 10 milligrams, including food sources. Yet many brain and nerve supplements on store shelves contain 50, 100, or even 200 milligrams per pill. That's not support. That's sabotage. Mr. Ramirez was lucky. Once we stopped the supplement, his condition stopped worsening, but he still needs a cane. He told me later, "Doctor, I was trying to protect my nerves. Instead, I was poisoning them." His story is a reminder that more isn't better. It's about balance. Vitamin A is often sold as the vitamin for eyesight, skin, and immunity. Many older adults take it thinking it will preserve their vision, but unlike water-soluble vitamins, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means it doesn't flush out in urine, it accumulates in the liver, tissues, and even the brain. And over time, it can raise pressure inside the skull, creating stroke-like symptoms. Take Ms. Green, a 78-year-old retired piano teacher. She loved music, still teaching children from her living room. Wanting to protect her vision, she took a supplement with 10,000 IU of vitamin A every day for years. Then came the headaches. Then the blurred vision. One morning, her speech slurred and she nearly fainted. Her family rushed her to the hospital fearing a stroke. But scans showed elevated intracranial pressure, pseudotumor cerebri, also called a false brain tumor. The culprit was vitamin A toxicity. Here's what happens. Excess vitamin A builds up because the liver can't process it fast enough. The result is a backup of spinal fluid in the brain. The pressure rises, squeezing tiny blood vessels and nerves. Symptoms include headaches, dizziness, nausea, double vision, even permanent vision loss. The safe upper limit for older adults is about 2,500 to 3,000 IU daily, and only if necessary under a doctor's guidance. Yet many supplements, especially those marketed for skin or eyes, contain 5,000 to 10,000 IU or more per pill. Multivitamins often already provide enough, so adding more layers of supplements quietly doubles or triples the risk. Ms. Green eventually improved after stopping the supplements, but she now requires regular eye exams and pressure checks. She told me once, "I thought I was helping my eyes. I didn't know I was blinding them." Her words cut to the heart of the issue. Good intentions aren't enough. You need good information too. Let's talk about niacin, also called vitamin B3. For decades, it's been praised as a natural way to lower cholesterol. Some doctors even prescribe it in certain cases. It's also tucked inside countless heart health supplements, multivitamins, and even energy drinks. But here's the part most people never hear. In high doses, niacin can cause dangerous swings in blood pressure and raise the risk of mini-strokes. I remember a patient named Mr. Daniels, an 82-year-old retired farmer. He was strong, independent, and proud of living the natural way. His shelves were filled with herbal teas, vitamins, and all-natural pills. One of them was a niacin supplement labeled "Supports Healthy Cholesterol and Circulation." Each capsule contained 1,000 milligrams. He took 2 a day. For a while, he felt fine until the hot flashes began. His face would flush red, his chest would pound. Sometimes, dizziness forced him to sit down. His family thought it was anxiety. But then one morning, he suddenly couldn't speak clearly for 2 minutes. His son rushed him to the hospital. It turned out to be a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. Here's what happened inside his body. Niacin dilates blood vessels, which is why it makes your face flush. That's not just a cosmetic side effect. It's your vessels suddenly opening wide, but soon after those vessels snap back and constrict. This yo-yo effect puts stress on your heart and brain, like pressing and releasing a car's brakes over and over again. Blood pressure spikes, blood flow wobbles, and fragile vessels in the brain take the hit. For seniors, especially those with already stiff arteries, it's like tapping a hammer against glass again and again until it finally cracks. Most older adults only need about 14 to 16 milligrams of niacin daily, which they already get from food. Anything above 50 milligrams should be used cautiously and only under medical supervision. Yet many supplements contain 500, 1,000, even 2,000 milligrams. Flush-free or extended-release versions aren't safer. They still affect blood pressure, heart rhythm, and even blood sugar. When I explained this to Mr. Daniels, he shook his head. "Doctor, I thought I was helping my heart. I didn't realize I was gambling with my brain." And that's the painful truth. Niacin isn't evil. It exists in foods like poultry, fish, and peanuts. But in megadoses, it transforms from helper to hazard. At this point, you might be wondering, why do these vitamin risks hit older adults harder than younger people? The answer lies in the natural changes of aging. When you're 30, your body is like a new car. The engine runs smoothly, the brakes respond instantly, and the suspension absorbs every bump. But by 60, 70, or 80, the parts are more worn. The same nutrients and chemicals your body once handled easily can now tip the system out of balance. The liver, for example, slows down with age. It processes toxins, medications, and vitamins less efficiently. The kidneys filter waste less effectively, which means substances that should leave the body may linger. The arteries, once elastic and springy, become stiff. Think of a fresh garden hose compared to one left outside all winter. One bends easily, the other cracks when pressure builds. The brain's blood vessels, once resilient, become thinner and more delicate. That's why even small fluctuations in blood pressure can have big consequences. Add to this the fact that many seniors take multiple medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, or arthritis. Each of these drugs interacts with supplements differently. A pill that seems harmless on its own can suddenly cause trouble when combined with a prescription. And here's the tricky part. The body doesn't always send loud warning signals. High calcium from too much vitamin D doesn't feel painful. Vitamin E thinning the blood doesn't cause symptoms until the moment bleeding begins. Vitamin B6 slowly stripping your nerves feels like normal aging at first. I once had a patient, Mrs. Ellis, a 77-year-old retired florist. She came to me with dizziness, headaches, and balance issues. She thought it was just age catching up. But when we reviewed her routine, she was taking vitamin D, vitamin E, and a multivitamin with extra vitamin A, all while on blood pressure medication. Each one seemed fine in isolation, but together they were straining her body beyond its ability to cope. Once we simplified her routine and emphasized food instead of pills, her symptoms improved within weeks. The lesson is simple. After 60, the rules change. What was safe at 30 may not be safe now. Respecting the body's limits is not a weakness, it's wisdom. So if these supplements can be risky, what's the alternative? The answer has been around forever. Food. Real, whole, recognizable food is still the safest way to nourish your body and brain. Unlike pills, food delivers nutrients in harmony, with natural balances built in. Your body recognizes it, absorbs it, and uses it properly. Think about a breakfast plate. Instead of lining up capsules, picture this: 1 boiled egg for protein, half an avocado for healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for steady energy, and a handful of blueberries rich in antioxidants. Add a glass of water, and you've given your brain hydration, fuel, and protection in a way no pill can match. Leafy greens like spinach and kale provide folate and antioxidants that help protect brain cells. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or trout bring omega-3 fatty acids that strengthen neurons. Nuts and seeds add natural vitamin E in safe amounts. Whole grains stabilize blood sugar and support circulation. Even simple foods like beans, lentils, and oats bring magnesium and fiber, which help regulate pressure and keep blood vessels healthy. I recall Mrs. Mitchell, a 73-year-old retired school teacher. She came to me with a drawer full of supplements: vitamin D, vitamin E, B complex, niacin, a multivitamin, and more. She was dizzy in the mornings and her blood pressure was climbing. Instead of adding another pill, we did something radical. We swapped supplements for food. Her breakfast became simple but powerful: an egg, avocado, blueberries, and water. Lunch was a salad with leafy greens and olive oil. Dinner included salmon twice a week. Within weeks, her dizziness faded, her energy returned, and she said her mind felt clearer than it had in years. The body was never designed to thrive on capsules. It was designed for food. Supplements can help when deficiencies exist, but they should never replace real meals. Now, let's get practical. What should you do if you already take supplements? The first step is not to panic. Most of the harm comes from long-term high-dose use. If you've been taking a multivitamin with moderate amounts, you're not in immediate danger. But awareness is key. Start by checking your labels. Look at how many international units, IU or milligrams, mg, are listed. Compare them to the recommended daily amounts. If you see 5,000 or 10,000 IU of vitamin D, or 400 IU of vitamin E, or 100 milligrams of B6, that's a red flag. Next, ask your doctor to check your blood levels for key vitamins like D and B12. If your levels are already normal or high, you may not need the supplement at all. Timing also matters. Take vitamins in the morning when possible, not at night. Drink enough water because dehydration increases risks. If you're on medications, especially blood thinners or blood pressure drugs, always check with your doctor before adding supplements. And remember, more is not better. Your body needs enough, not excess. I had one patient, Mr. Clark, who brought me a shopping bag full of pills. He looked at me sheepishly and said, "Doctor, I just want to make sure I'm covered." We laughed, but then we went through each bottle together. By the end, he cut his supplement load by half, swapped in more food, and within months, his blood pressure stabilized and his sleep improved. Sometimes less, really, is more. Let me end with this. Vitamins are not the enemy. They are essential, powerful tools. But like any tool, they can build or they can break. A hammer can construct a house or shatter a window. It depends on how it's used. The same goes for supplements. The goal isn't fear. It's respect. Your body at 70 is not the same as it was at 30. It doesn't process nutrients as quickly, it doesn't tolerate excess as easily, and it doesn't recover from mistakes as smoothly. But that doesn't mean you're fragile. It means you're wise. Every choice now carries more weight, and awareness becomes your strongest medicine. If there's one lesson to carry with you, it's this. Don't assume that because something is sold over the counter, it's harmless. Read the labels, ask questions, choose food first, use supplements only when truly needed, and always with guidance. By doing so, you protect not just your brain, but your independence, your memory, and the mornings you wake up feeling fully yourself. I often tell my patients, you're never too old to take back control of your health. And I believe that deeply. By being informed, by making thoughtful choices, and by respecting your body's limits, you give yourself more time, more clarity, and more freedom. That is the real power of awareness.